Hey guys, welcome to the USA Trade Tasting Short Insights. I wanted to make videos for brands who are working or trying to grow their distribution in US drinks market, and especially if you're trying to pitch and work with importers and distributors. So in this video, I'm going to have 5 short videos, and the first one I really want to talk about some street tips, right, on what really goes on and how the market works. So the first one we're going to talk about is getting retail influencers on board. Can be restaurants, but getting influencers on board, I call it getting godfathers of the retail. So let me explain what I mean. So for example, if you're in New Jersey, there are big store chains like Joe Canal, for example. That's one of the chain. By Right is a second one. So what you really want to do is associate with these brands. Now, this store chains are usually doing group buys, so they're really looking for a good deal. Like a 10 pallet deal or a container deal or an exclusive deal. But it's important to have them on board, and it's important on how you're positioning them and how you're going to be using them. That's where the utility and that's where the deal programming comes. So what I would suggest is this big change, big drops which you do, use for floor stacks, use for front case displays, and that's what you really need in your first 6 months. So if you're launching in a new market, what you really want to do is have floor stacks like a 10K stack or a 3K stack or a 5K stack. Obviously you're not going to get a 25K stack in the first 6 months, but you will have to start proving that depletions work. But use this big stores to do floor stacks and give them deals. Like even if you make $0, you'll have to give them super programming so that you get a floor stack. But the value of a floor stack, the value of end consumer walking in a store and seeing your brand is more than what you think. So I would advise not to spend any paid ads or any like other social media ads or magazine ads or any sort of advertising, and use all that money, give that back to this big retailers for a floor case stack. And that's the best investment you can do in your first 6 months in a brand, giving back to the retailer and getting a floor stack. So that's one. Second is getting high-end restaurants or high-end boutique wine accounts, which are really a reputational play. It's important to also make sure that you don't fall into the volume category of a brand. Even if you're a volume play, for example, even if you're a $6.99 wine or a $7.99 wine, you always will have to lift the reputation so it feels that $6.99 is a deal. Now, what I mean by that is you should find restaurants like Cipriani Wall Street or some Michelin star restaurants and try to be in their house wine program, try to be in their cocktail programs if you're a spirit brand, but try to be in their program and use that name to pitch all these retailers or any mom and pop, that, hey, we are in this restaurant, we are house wine here, we are, listed in Reds here, we are in this account. You have to use that account to eliminate the factor of quality, right? So use this strategically and get 5 to 6 really prestigious names. Again, you'll have to give deals or do whatever it is, but the idea is you're making a whole pitch for your reps. One was, as I told you, was the godfathers. That if you can go in a store, any mom and pop store, and say, hey, we sell in Denny's, for example, hey, we sell in Total Wines, or we sell in XYZ chain, and so on. But at least that way they know that you are aiming for a wider distribution. You are a big and serious supplier. So there are many things that goes into play on how you're going to be using those names. Then second, as I said, was using a restaurant or a fine account. It can be a retailer as well. Like there are some merchants in most of the states who have been operating for like 40 years and who are very well known, who have great newsletter lists. So it's important to get into that because they have the following, right? So like Frank's Wine, for example, in Delaware, I remember. And there are many accounts like that, which, have a really loyal following. So you want to go into their newsletters and then you want to be in that account, even if it's just on the shelf. The third thing, what I really would want to advise is winning the sales reps. What you really want to do is, win the hearts of the distributor sales reps. And you will have to do it by working and making sure that your brand moves. That's the best way. All your smooth talking will not work. What you really want to do is you want to prove that you are a salesperson. So that is the key, guys. So if you're a winery, winemaker or a distiller, you will have to wear your salesperson hat, and you will really have to remove your technical hat and make sure that when you're doing your market work, you put some scores. You sell, basically. That's the best way to motivate the sales reps. That's the best way to make relationships with the retailers, and depletions and sales is exactly how you motivate your distributor sales reps. That's one. Second is constantly help them get new accounts. So tell your main office to help in the market you are operating. So for example, if you're operating in New Jersey or Delaware, or let's say Illinois, you always have to find some way of leads that you're sending to this reps that, hey, I already spoke with this guy, go and meet this guy. So you kind of give a constant flow of good leads for this people. That's the best way as well. You're helping them open a new account, and that they love. Like, imagine that a rep doesn't do any business in this store, and you have opened the door for you. So that sort of value is really high. Reps like to work with suppliers who are aggressive, who are ready to put in the work, who are ready to do the street work. There are many suppliers who come and do the talking, but then suppliers who, when they're flying back and have depleted everything that's in a distributor's warehouse, are the ones who are going to win. And reps are looking forward for the next market visit of that supplier. So try to win the rep sales reps by this way, by purely proving it. Fourth point, what I would really advise is have your marketing materials ready. And it fascinates me on how much people don't focus on case cards, shelf talkers, sell sheets. These are important materials. Forget about your brochures, guys. Brochures is waste. Like, stop printing brochures. No one reads brochures in trade. Have a one-page sheet which shows how you will help sell, the retailer, how you will help the distributor. It's called sales sheets, basically. Have technical information and write 5 things on why a retailer should buy, on why the consumer of a retailer should buy, on why a distributor should buy, and so on, right? So, and that can be like, some unique points, like maybe you are the cheapest Pinot Noir out of Oregon. Maybe you are a 97 point of a competition, or maybe you are the third fastest growing brand in Delaware, and so on, right? So find some materials, bullet points that are going to help, that are speaking the language of trade. Okay, they don't want to know what appellation the wine was made. And I'm talking about, by the way, I'm talking about 80% of the trade here, which is really mom and pop stores. I'm not talking about the 20% fine wine merchants, which for sure, want to know the story. And I'm not discouraging not to tell the story. Story is always a good idea, but then back it up with the trade language as well, because most of the clerks and most of the reps and most of the people out on the floor of the wine retailer would want to know like 3 or 4 unique points that they can use with the layman consumer or end consumer that just has 1 or 2 minutes to know about your brand. So I think sales sheets, shelf talkers, and case cards are the 3 most important things which I would advise to carry in your suitcase as you carry your wine samples. Super important. You should always have shelf talkers ready. So when you're doing your market work as well, take it out and put it in there. When you're meeting someone, show them, put it on the table, like how you display your samples, display your sales material, your material. It's important because the buyer knows that you are a prepared supplier, and that's where you differentiate. You're just not a supplier who has no idea how the trade works. What you really want to know is lay out your trade material on the table with the sample, and actually spend time in talking about the material, that, hey, I can customize this for you. I can put your logo of your store as well. Hey, I can, just not put competition scores if you're not promoting competition scores. And if you want a handwritten note, I can do it. So tell them that you can customize this shelf talker. Tell them you can customize this case cards. When I was selling my wine, like I was in Festival Foods, for example, all those 20 accounts, we made a display for, just Festival Foods, like a case card. I'm just giving you one example, so it's important that you tell them that at your cost, you're going to customize the point of sale material, right? So that are, I think the 4 street tips which I would advise. So it's important for you to really, really spend energy and time here, because that's where the real action is. That's where you get depletions, and depletions is how you earn trust. Everything will start working once your brand starts moving. You will start getting paid, you will start building a reputation, and then you will be able to cross-sell other high margin products. So thank you. I will be putting more videos for USA Trade Tasting actionable insights. But until then, if you are a brand, if you are in the business of drinks in US market, I would highly encourage you to join us for USA Trade Tasting Drinks Conference on October 12th and 13th. See you at the show.